Hey gang, welcome to my channel. I'm the Pony 314 and we're scaling things down a bit for a pistol that was way ahead of its time. Yep, this is the Walther PP. So, here are the basics. This is a blowback operated semi-automatic pistol chambered mainly in 32 ACP. There were others. It had fixed sights and a single stack 8-round magazine. This nifty little pistol was introduced in 1929 by Karl Walther GmbH Sportwaffen, usually just shortened to Walther. Now, it might not look it, certainly not from a modern standpoint, but this was designed as a carry weapon for uniformed police. At that time, across the world, police had largely stayed with revolvers while the military was increasingly moving on to automatics. But some police, particularly in Europe, were exploring the automatic pistol. But Walther came along and introduced an automatic pistol for police use that was, in some ways, way beyond virtually any other automatic at that time. In fact, as you may already know, PP means Polizeipistole. That, of course, is German for police pistol. And if you didn't already know that, it was probably pretty easy to guess. So, let's get into the meat of this thing. What Walther came up with was basically a bag full of innovations. For one thing, it was a double action with a decocking safety. See if you can see that right there. And a hammer block. And what that means is, after chambering the first round, dropping the safety, here, take a look. Dropping the safety safely drops the hammer, and switching the safety back to fire means that the first round is fired with a long double-action trigger pull, and all subsequent shots are now fired with a light trigger pull. Think of the Beretta 92 or the CZ75 or the FNP. Yeah, this functions like those. But remember, this was way back in 1929. And so a lot of the service pistols of the 80s and 90s, and today, can trace their concepts back to the Walther PP. And check this out. And I don't know if you can see this, but right there, there's a pin above the hammer. Now this is a loaded chamber indicator. And when the pin protrudes, that means that, yes, you have a round in the chamber. So again, the Walther PP was way ahead of its time. The Walther PP became a widely used weapon by uniformed police in Europe, and that's especially true in Germany. And that was largely used throughout the 30s and beyond, and it was known for its reliability, its obvious ease of carry. I mean, this thing doesn't have a lot of weight to it, and was considered at that time to be quite effective. Now, we don't tend to think of the 32 ACP as a useful service round, but it was very widely used as such in the first half of the 20th century and beyond. And this went way beyond just police use. When World War II came around, the Third Reich found a lot of use for the Walther PP. The Kriegsmarine, that was the German Navy of that time, acquired these in large numbers. I believe the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, did as well, as did rear echelon troops in the German army. That allowed for Lugers and Walther P-38s to be sent to the front. But the diminutive Walther PP did see some action at the front. So a good number of these came back to the States as souvenirs by American servicemen. I mean, German pistols of any kind were heavily sought after as war trophies. So, after the war, the Walther PP still had a hell of a future ahead of it, but Germany, for quite a few years, was not allowed to manufacture any firearms, so huge numbers were made by contract by Mannerin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, in France. And the PP would continue to serve as a hugely popular police and, to a lesser degree, military weapon all over the world, and saw, and probably still does see, a lot of use with intelligence services. For one thing, Australia, France obviously, Sweden, Senegal, the UK's MI6 famously has carried it, Chad, Iran, Bolivia, just to name a few. And no, before you ask, we're not going to talk about its slightly smaller cousin, the better known Walther PPK. That's going to get its own video in the future. I have one of those too. But so popular was this that the Walther PP was very widely copied, both with and without license, and served as the basis for a lot of other service pistols, and in particular, the Russian Makarov. We'll have a video on that in the future as well. So clearly, the Walther PP, just from a historical standpoint, was much greater than just the sum of its parts. This has also proven to be a very popular pistol here in the States. Self-defense, to some degree, target shooting, and just to have something really cool. I mean, seriously, look at this thing. It's nifty, it's compact, it's really easy to use. What's not to like? Well, I certainly like it. And to make that point plain, we're heading down to the range in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and we're going to pop off at a bleeding zombie clown target. So, let's get going. We're burning daylight. Oh, but while I'm thinking about it, if you want to help keep this not exactly cheap to run channel going, check out the link to my Patreon in the description. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to the range. We're out here at the Municipal Shooting Range in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico with the Walther PP. And we're going to put 8 shots into our zombie down there, see what kind of hits we get with this German police classic. So, let's get busy. Headshot. On a side note, we all know about James Bond and his Walther PPK and so on, and while those movies did an awful lot to make the PPK a household name, and also a very popular pistol here in America, well, fun fact. When he was issued his PPK in the first Bond movie, Dr. No, well, they just called it a PPK. The actual pistol that they put in his hands was a PP. So personally, I blame Bond movies for making the PPK more popular, at least, well, better known than the PP. I mean, hey, Walther PP, was it tough growing up in your younger brother's shadow? But again, we will get to the Walther PPK in another video. Actually, that's going to be a Walther PPK-S, but again, keep your eyes open in future videos. We'll get to that sooner or later. But I think for now, we should just head back down to the range and have a little bit more fun with our zombie clown. I mean, come on. These are really fun to shoot, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's just get to it. One more time with the Walther PP. I can't help myself. I'm going for headshots today. I mean, it is a zombie, but we're going to get our magazine reloaded. We're going to get right back to it. And that was our episode on the Walther PP. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And if you like our subject matter on this channel, I think you know the drill. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. I'm the Pony 314, and I will see you at the range.